Ferrari is hiding everything. The real SF26 hasn't been seen yet. Charles Leclerc signs the fastest time of the first Bahrain test day with half a second advantage over all competition. But the most interesting thing is not the lap time. It's what Ferrari has deliberately chosen not to show. And what's hiding behind those numbers is absolutely staggering. The reading I feel I can give to this first phase of testing is clear. We're halfway through the combined program of Barcelona and Bahrain tests, and one objective fact is emerging above all else: the reliability of Ferrari's new power unit. That is an excellent foundation to build everything else upon. Leclerc sits at the top with 0.5 of advantage over Norris, a full second ahead of Behrman, Russell, and Hajar. Ferrari completed 271 laps across 2 days without a single mechanical problem stopping the car. A car that just keeps lapping and lapping and lapping without drama is the absolute foundation of everything a competitive season requires. But you need to understand why the raw number is deceiving. Leclerc posted his best time on soft C3 tires during the cooler morning session. Norris, who finished second, did so on C2 medium compound rubber. That compound difference alone is worth 4 to 7/10 of a second depending on conditions. On identical tires, Norris could well be faster. McLaren might actually have the quicker car. We simply don't know that with certainty yet. This is not a team chasing lap time glory to look impressive in the paddock or generate headlines. This is a team collecting data systematically while keeping everyone else completely in the dark about their true performance ceiling. Ferrari's team principal had already declared before testing that the car brought to Bahrain was not the real car yet. A Spec A configuration with mileage priority, not performance priority. And statements from Maranello pushed even further with clear hints that the second Bahrain test could bring real surprises in the wings and in other key elements across the car. Ferrari is practically winking at the camera while telling you there's still much more performance in reserve, and the timing of that reveal is entirely in their hands. And here's where the story gets truly fascinating from a pure engineering standpoint. Every other engine manufacturer on the 2026 grid built their cylinder heads from aluminum. Lighter, proven, safe. Ferrari looked at all of that and said, no thank you. Ferrari chose steel with copper and ceramic components instead. Steel is heavier but handles significantly higher combustion pressures and temperatures. This means Ferrari can extract more energy from each combustion event because the engine block is physically capable of withstanding forces that would crack an aluminum head apart. It's a bold material choice that carries weight penalties, but potentially enormous thermal advantages. The other half of Ferrari's engine story involves their endurance program. The 499P prototype dominating the World Endurance Championship runs a 200 kilowatt battery system. The 2026 Formula One regulations require a 350 kilowatt MGUK. Ferrari's WEC team shared excellent data on minimizing battery pack weight developed across real endurance racing conditions. This technological cross-pollination gave Maranello a mass advantage that rivals simply cannot replicate. Mercedes doesn't compete in the WEC hypercar class. It has no access to this kind of real-world endurance battery data, gathered across thousands of racing kilometers. But pay attention because the true protagonist of this first test phase is undoubtedly Red Bull. They are being identified as the team with the most outright powerful power unit on the grid. That's the assessment emerging from experts and drivers themselves. Both Sainz and Wolff's analyses, conducted through GPS measurements by their respective teams, indicate Red Bull appears to have the best absolute engine performance on the grid right now. A figure that doesn't show up in lap times because Hajar yesterday suffered problems linked to gearbox usage that penalized his overall contribution significantly throughout the day. One of the biggest challenges teams are confronting right now is optimizing how they deploy the energy delivered by the battery. And here two completely different philosophies emerge that reveal a great deal about each team's mentality and engineering approach. Red Bull goes down to first gear at corner entry where second would do the job comfortably. This aggressive downshift creates a rev spike that recharges the battery faster through the MGUK, delivering higher top speeds on the subsequent straight. GPS data confirms it clearly. Verstappen was consistently faster through speed traps across both test days. Ferrari uses the opposite technique entirely. Leclerc was avoiding 8th gear on straights, holding 7th instead to optimize energy management through an entirely different method. Not the violent downshift at corners, but coasting and holding a slightly lower gear on the straight as a current generator, smoothing out the deployment curve rather than spiking it. This suggests Ferrari's energy recovery system is already so efficient that it doesn't need the first gear trick to match or exceed rivals' deployment levels. And if that's true, it means Ferrari has genuine performance in reserve, because at any moment they could add that technique on top of the existing advantage and push the numbers even higher. While Ferrari quietly collected data, rivals were living very different and far more chaotic days entirely. Red Bull discovered a hydraulic leak before the second day, forcing Hajar to complete just one installation lap before the car returned to the garage for hours of remedial work. Mercedes suffered a critical power unit failure on day 2, with Antonelli completing exactly 3 laps before a full engine change became necessary, costing the team enormous amounts of valuable track time. And Aston Martin with Honda lost half an hour of the first day to a Honda engine problem, with Stroll completing just 36 laps in total across both days. Against all that chaos, Ferrari's 271 laps without a single problem is not just impressive, it's a statement of intent and preparation. And it doesn't concern only the works team. Haas completed 245 laps on Ferrari power. Cadillac, in their very first preseason appearance in Formula 1, completed 216 laps on Ferrari power without significant issues. 3 Ferrari-powered teams for a combined total of 730 laps across 2 days. The Ferrari power unit isn't just fast, it is the most reliable engine on the grid by a significant and undeniable margin. And before closing, it's worth noting that from Wolff's statements yesterday, the power unit gate seemed to be heading towards some form of resolution. But the news about closing the investigation with a static hot verification on the Mercedes power unit convinces me very little indeed. The FIA's reassurances look more like an attempt to pour water on the fire and kill the controversy before it becomes an even bigger political problem. Doubts about the specific methodology of this verification, and about what static hot verification actually means, technically remain very much alive and unresolved. In my view, the power unit gate is absolutely not closed, regardless of what the official communications suggest. The second Bahrain test begins on February 18th. That's the moment when we should finally see the first real taste of Ferrari's updated specification with new aerodynamic elements. Engine homologation happens on March 1st, and Melbourne on March 6th will be the first session where everyone runs on minimum fuel, maximum engine mode, and the best available components in genuine qualifying and race conditions. Until then, the only completely honest answer to how fast Ferrari truly is when everything is turned up remains. We simply don't know. And that might be exactly what Maranello has planned all along.